Weather, the state of the atmosphere at a place and time as regards heat, dryness, sunshine, wind, rain, etc. The weather today is sunny with a gentle breeze. Weather forecasts help us plan our daily activities. Extreme weather conditions can disrupt travel plans. Monsoon, a seasonal prevailing wind in the region of South and Southeast Asia, bringing rain. The monsoon season brings heavy rains to the region. Farmers rely on the monsoon for their crops. The intensity of the monsoon varies from year to year. Precipitation, any form of water, liquid or solid, falling from the sky. Precipitation levels are highest in the rainforest. The meteorologist predicted precipitation for the weekend. Precipitation can include rain, snow, sleet, or hail. Dew, tiny drops of water that form on cool surfaces at night. When atmospheric vapor condenses, the grass was covered in morning dew. Dew forms on the leaves of plants overnight. Dew can be an indicator of humidity levels. Thermometer, an instrument for measuring and indicating temperature. The thermometer showed a rise in temperature. She checked the thermometer to see if she had a fever. Outdoor thermometers are used to monitor weather conditions. Anemometer, an instrument for measuring the speed of the wind, or of any current of gas. The anemometer recorded strong wind speeds. Anemometers are essential tools for weather stations. He used an anemometer to measure the wind velocity. Isobar, a line on a map connecting points having the same atmospheric pressure at a given time. Isobars on weather maps help predict wind patterns. The closer the isobars, the stronger the wind. Meteorologists analyze isobars to understand weather systems. Beaufort scale, a scale for measuring wind speed. The Beaufort scale is used to estimate wind force. Sailors use the Beaufort scale to assess sea conditions. The wind was at level 5 on the Beaufort scale. Flurry, a small swirling mass of something, especially snow or leaves, moved by sudden gusts of wind. Snow flurries were expected later in the day. A flurry of leaves blew across the yard. Flurries often occur just before a major snowstorm. Sleet, a form of precipitation consisting of ice pellets, often mixed with rain or snow. Sleet made the road slippery and dangerous. The forecast predicted sleet in the evening. Sleet is common during winter storms. Whiteout, a weather condition in which visibility and contrast are severely reduced by snow or sand. The whiteout conditions made driving hazardous. Whiteouts can occur suddenly in snowstorms. Hikers were caught in a whiteout on the mountain. Chinook, a warm, dry wind descending a mountain, especially on the eastern slopes of the Rockies. The Chinook melted the snow quickly. Chinook winds can cause rapid temperature changes. Residents welcomed the Chinook after a cold spell. Gust, a brief, strong rush of wind. A gust of wind knocked over the patio chairs. Gusts of wind can reach high speeds during storms. The weather forecast warned of strong gusts. Slush, partially melted snow or ice. The streets were covered in dirty slush. Slush forms when snow begins to melt. Walking through slush can be challenging. Squall, a sudden, violent gust of wind or localized storm. A squall swept across the lake, capsizing boats. Squalls can bring heavy rain and wind. Fishermen prepared for the incoming squall. Flash flood, a sudden local flood, typically due to heavy rain. The town was devastated by a flash flood after the storm. Flash floods can occur with little warning. Emergency services were on high alert for potential flash floods. Sunburst, a sudden brief burst of sunlight. A sunburst broke through the clouds after the rain. The painting featured a dramatic sunburst over the horizon. She captured the sunburst in a beautiful photograph. Anticyclone, a weather system with high atmospheric pressure at its center, associated with calm, fine weather. The anticyclone brought clear skies and sunshine. Winter anticyclones can lead to cold, foggy conditions. Anticyclones often result in settled, dry weather. Atmospheric pressure, the pressure exerted by the weight of the atmosphere. Atmospheric pressure decreases with altitude. Barometers are used to measure atmospheric pressure. Changes in atmospheric pressure can indicate upcoming weather. Cumulonimbus, a dense, towering cloud associated with thunderstorms and heavy rain. The cumulonimbus cloud signaled an approaching storm. Pilots avoid flying near cumulonimbus clouds due to turbulence. Cumulonimbus clouds are often seen in summer afternoons. Thermal inversion, a reversal of the normal decrease of air temperature with altitude. A thermal inversion trapped pollutants close to the ground. Thermal inversions can lead to poor air quality. Meteorologists monitor thermal inversions to predict weather patterns. Humidity, the amount of water vapor in the air. High humidity can make hot weather feel even hotter. Humidity levels are measured with a hygrometer. Tropical climates are characterized by high humidity. Barometer, an instrument measuring atmospheric pressure, used especially in forecasting the weather. She checked the barometer to see if a storm was coming. The barometer reading indicated a drop in pressure. Barometers are essential tools for meteorologists. Cyclone, a system of winds rotating inward to an area of low atmospheric pressure. The cyclone caused widespread damage along the coast. Cyclone warnings were issued for the entire region. Residents were urged to evacuate ahead of the approaching cyclone. Tornado, a violently rotating column of air extending from a thunderstorm to the ground. The tornado swept through the town, causing massive destruction. Tornado warnings were issued for the region. They took shelter in the basement as the tornado approached. Drought, a prolonged period of abnormally low rainfall, leading to a shortage of water. The drought severely affected the agricultural output. Water restrictions were imposed due to the drought. The drought had long-term impacts on the local economy. Floodplain, an area of low-lying ground adjacent to a river, formed mainly of river sediments and subject to flooding. The floodplain was submerged after the heavy rains. Floodplains are crucial for absorbing floodwaters. The city is working on projects to protect the floodplain. Tsunami, a long high sea wave caused by an earthquake or other disturbance. The tsunami warning system saved many lives. Tsunamis can travel across entire ocean basins. Coastal areas were evacuated ahead of the predicted tsunami. Meteorological phenomenon, a weather event that is observed and studied in meteorology. Lightning is a fascinating meteorological phenomenon. They studied the meteorological phenomenon to predict future patterns. The documentary covered various meteorological phenomena, including hurricanes and tornadoes. Equinox, the time or date, twice each year, at which the sun crosses the celestial equator. When day and night are of equal length, the equinox marks the beginning of spring and autumn. Many cultures celebrate the equinox with festivals. During the equinox, the day and night are approximately equal in length. Hurricane, a type of storm called a tropical cyclone, which forms over tropical or subtropical waters. The hurricane caused extensive damage along the coastline. Hurricane preparedness is essential for coastal residents. They track the hurricane's path to issue timely warnings. Cloudburst, a sudden, very heavy rainfall. The cloudburst caused flash flooding in the area. Cloudbursts are often unpredictable and dangerous. After the cloudburst, the streets were flooded within minutes. Weather front, a boundary separating two masses of air of different densities. The cold weather front brought heavy snow and ice. Weather fronts can cause dramatic changes in temperature. Meteorologists track weather fronts to predict storms. Radiation, the emission of energy as electromagnetic waves or as moving subatomic particles. Solar radiation is the primary source of energy for Earth. Exposure to high levels of radiation can be harmful. Radiation from the sun affects the climate. Temperature gradient, the rate of temperature change with respect to distance. The steep temperature gradient caused strong winds. Scientists study temperature gradients to understand weather patterns. A sharp temperature gradient can lead to severe weather conditions. Jet stream, a narrow, fast-flowing air current in the upper atmosphere. The jet stream can influence weather patterns globally. Pilots monitor the jet stream to plan flight paths. Changes in the jet stream can affect climate systems. Chiaroscuro, the effect of light and shadow, often used in reference to dramatic contrasts. the chiaroscuro in the painting highlighted the stormy sky. Photographers use chiaroscuro to create mood in their images. The chiaroscuro effect can make weather phenomena look more dramatic. Meteorology, the science that deals with the atmosphere and its phenomena, including weather and climate. He decided to study meteorology to become a weather forecaster. Meteorology involves understanding complex weather systems. Advances in meteorology have improved weather predictions. Stratosphere, the layer of the Earth's atmosphere above the troposphere. The stratosphere contains the ozone layer. Weather balloons are used to study the stratosphere. Commercial jets typically fly in the lower stratosphere. Thermodynamics, the branch of physical science that deals with the relations between heat and other forms of energy. Thermodynamics explains how energy is transferred in the atmosphere. Understanding thermodynamics is crucial for meteorologists. Thermodynamics principles are applied in climate models. Atmosphere, the envelope of gases surrounding the Earth or another planet. The atmosphere protects Earth from harmful solar radiation. Changes in the atmosphere can impact global weather patterns. The composition of the atmosphere is vital for sustaining life. Precipitation patterns, the distribution of precipitation over a certain period in a specific area. Changes in precipitation patterns affect water resources. Scientists study precipitation patterns to predict droughts. Precipitation patterns have shifted due to climate change. Climate change, long-term alteration of temperature and typical weather patterns in a place. Climate change poses significant risks to global ecosystems. Policies to combat climate change are being implemented worldwide. The effects of climate change are evident in the increasing frequency of extreme weather events. Polar vortex, a large area of low pressure and cold air surrounding the Earth's poles. The polar vortex caused extremely cold temperatures in the region. A weakened polar vortex can lead to unusual weather patterns. Scientists are monitoring the polar vortex to understand its impact on global weather. Severe weather, any dangerous meteorological phenomena with the potential to cause damage or loss of life. Severe weather warnings were issued ahead of the storm. Severe weather can disrupt daily activities and travel plans. Preparedness is key to minimizing the impact of severe weather. Geostationary satellite, a satellite in a geostationary orbit, appearing stationary relative to the Earth's surface. Geostationary satellites provide continuous weather monitoring. They use data from geostationary satellites to track the hurricane. Geostationary satellites are crucial for global communication systems. Condensation, the process by which water vapor in the air is changed into liquid water. Condensation on the window indicated high humidity inside. Condensation is a key step in the water cycle. The formation of clouds involves the condensation of water vapor. Thermal expansion, the tendency of matter to change in volume in response to a change in temperature. Thermal expansion can cause roads to crack in hot weather. Engineers must consider thermal expansion when designing structures. The expansion of metal due to thermal expansion is a well-known phenomenon. Wind chill, the lowering of body temperature due to the passing flow of lower temperature air. The wind chill made the cold weather feel even colder. Wind chill factors are crucial for understanding how cold it really feels. Meteorologists often report wind chill during winter forecasts. Hygrometer, an instrument used to measure the moisture content in the atmosphere. The hygrometer showed a high level of humidity in the room. Hygrometers are essential for weather forecasting. She used a hygrometer to measure the humidity before painting. Rain shadow, a dry area on the leeward side of a mountainous area, blocked from rain-bearing winds. The desert formed in the rain shadow of the mountain range. Rain shadows create unique microclimates. Agriculture in the rain shadow region requires efficient water management. Ecosystem balance, the state of equilibrium within a natural ecosystem where species and environments coexist sustainably. Human activities can disrupt the ecosystem balance. Conservation efforts aim to restore ecosystem balance. Climate change poses a threat to ecosystem balance globally. Climatology, the scientific study of climate, including the statistics of Earth's atmospheric conditions. climatology helps us understand long-term weather patterns. She pursued a career in climatology to study global warming. Advances in climatology have improved climate predictions. Tidal wave, a large ocean wave usually caused by an underwater earthquake or volcanic eruption. The coastal town was hit by a massive tidal wave. Tidal waves can cause significant coastal erosion. Early warning systems can help mitigate the effects of tidal waves. Flash freeze, a rapid drop in temperature causing immediate freezing. The sudden flash freeze turned the roads into an icy hazard. Flash freezes can occur with little warning. Farmers are particularly vulnerable to crop damage from flash freezes. Variable weather, weather conditions that change frequently. The region is known for its variable weather patterns. Tourists should be prepared for variable weather conditions. Variable weather can make planning outdoor activities challenging. Climate resilience, the ability to anticipate, prepare for, and respond to hazardous events or disturbances related to climate. Building climate resilience is crucial for sustainable development. Communities need to enhance their climate resilience. Investing in climate resilience can reduce disaster recovery costs. Advection, the horizontal movement of air, moisture, or heat. Advection plays a key role in weather changes. Meteorologists study advection to predict temperature shifts. Advection can lead to the rapid spread of pollutants in the atmosphere. Baroclinic, relating to the state of stratification in a fluid where surfaces of constant pressure intersect surfaces of constant density. Baroclinic processes are important in understanding weather systems. The baroclinic nature of the atmosphere influences storm development. Scientists use baroclinic models to forecast weather patterns. Coriolis effect, the deflection of moving objects when viewed in a rotating reference frame. Due to Earth's rotation, the Coriolis effect influences wind and ocean current directions. Pilots must consider the Coriolis effect when planning long-distance flights. The Coriolis effect is crucial for understanding global weather patterns. Cyclogenesis, the development or strengthening of cyclonic circulation in the atmosphere. Cyclogenesis can lead to the formation of powerful storms. Studying cyclogenesis helps meteorologists predict hurricanes. Various factors contribute to the process of cyclogenesis. Diurnal, relating to or occurring in a 24-hour period, often referring to daily cycles. Diurnal temperature variations can be significant in deserts. Animals often have diurnal activity patterns. Diurnal cycles influence many aspects of climate and weather. Geopotential height, the height of a pressure surface in the atmosphere above mean sea level, adjusted for variations in gravitational force. Meteorologists use geopotential height to analyze weather systems. Geopotential height maps help in predicting storm tracks. Understanding geopotential height is crucial for climate models. Hygroscopic nuclei, particles in the atmosphere on which water vapor condenses to form clouds. Hygroscopic nuclei are essential for cloud formation. Pollution can increase the number of hygroscopic nuclei in the air. Researchers study hygroscopic nuclei to understand precipitation. Isentropic analysis, a method of weather analysis using surfaces of constant entropy or potential temperature. Isentropic analysis helps predict atmospheric motion. Meteorologists perform isentropic analysis to forecast weather changes. Understanding isentropic analysis is key for advanced meteorology. Katabatic wind, a drainage wind that carries high-density air from a higher elevation down a slope under the force of gravity. Katabatic winds can cause rapid temperature drops. Scientists study katabatic winds in polar regions. The katabatic wind swept down the mountain, chilling the valley. Mesocyclone, a vortex of air within a convective storm, typically associated with intense thunderstorms and tornadoes. Mesocyclones are often precursors to tornadoes. The radar detected a mesocyclone forming within the storm. Understanding mesocyclones helps improve severe weather forecasts. Orographic lifting, the process by which air is forced to rise over a mountain range, leading to adiabatic cooling and cloud formation. Orographic lifting causes heavy rainfall on the windward side of mountains. Orographic lifting is responsible for creating lush, green landscapes. Pilots must consider orographic lifting when flying over mountains. Photochemical smog, air pollution produced by the reaction of sunlight with pollutants such as hydrocarbons and nitrogen oxides. Photochemical smog is a major issue in urban areas. Efforts to reduce emissions can help mitigate photochemical smog. The city implemented new regulations to combat photochemical smog. Radiative forcing, the change in energy in the atmosphere due to factors such as greenhouse gases and aerosols. Increased radiative forcing leads to global warming. Scientists measure radiative forcing to understand climate impacts. Human activities have increased radiative forcing significantly. Synoptic scale, the scale of weather systems covering a continent or ocean, typically used in forecasting. The synoptic scale analysis helps predict large weather patterns. Meteorologists use synoptic scale maps for weather forecasting. Synoptic scale phenomena include hurricanes and cyclones. Teleconnections, climate anomalies that are related over large distances. El Niño is an example of a teleconnection affecting global weather. Teleconnections help scientists understand weather patterns. Research on teleconnections can improve climate predictions. Tropopause, the boundary between the troposphere and the stratosphere. The tropopause acts as a barrier to certain weather systems. Jet streams are typically located near the tropopause. The height of the tropopause varies with latitude and season. Vorticity, the tendency for elements of the fluid to spin. High vorticity indicates strong rotational motion in the atmosphere. Meteorologists track vorticity to predict tornadoes. Vorticity is an important factor in cyclone development. Weathering, the breaking down or dissolving of rocks and minerals on Earth's surface. Weathering processes shape landscapes over time. Chemical weathering alters the composition of rocks. Weathering contributes to soil formation. Zonal flow, the pattern of atmospheric circulation where winds move predominantly west to east. Zonal flow patterns influence temperature distribution. Stable zonal flow can lead to prolonged weather conditions. Meteorologists analyze zonal flow to understand climate trends. Atmospheric circulation, the large-scale movement of air that distributes heat across the planet. Atmospheric circulation patterns drive weather systems. Changes in atmospheric circulation affect global climates. The study of atmospheric circulation is crucial for climate science. Boundary layer, the layer of air closest to the Earth's surface, where friction with the ground affects flow. The boundary layer is key to understanding wind patterns near the surface. Pollutants are often trapped in the boundary layer. Meteorologists study the boundary layer to improve weather forecasts. Convective inhibition, the suppression of convective activity in the atmosphere. High convective inhibition can prevent storm development. Meteorologists measure convective inhibition to predict severe weather. Convective inhibition is a factor in forecasting thunderstorm potential. Dendroclimatology, the study of past climates using data from tree rings. Dendroclimatology reveals historical climate patterns. Scientists use dendroclimatology to understand ancient droughts. Dendroclimatology provides insight into long-term environmental changes. Ephemeral streams, streams that flow only briefly during and after rainfall. Ephemeral streams are common in arid regions. The ecology of ephemeral streams is adapted to temporary water flow. Ephemeral streams can cause sudden, local flooding during storms. Frontal zone, the boundary region between two different air masses. Weather changes rapidly in the frontal zone. A frontal zone can bring sudden temperature shifts. The frontal zone moves slowly, causing prolonged rain. Gravitational settling, the process by which particles settle out of a fluid due to gravity. Gravitational settling affects sediment deposition in rivers. Air pollution control devices use gravitational settling to remove particles. Gravitational settling can influence the clarity of water bodies. Hydrosphere, all the waters on the Earth's surface, including oceans, lakes, rivers, and groundwater. The hydrosphere interacts with the atmosphere and biosphere. Climate change impacts the hydrosphere significantly. The hydrosphere is essential for all life on Earth. Intertropical Convergence Zone, ITCZ, a region near the equator where northern and southern air masses converge, producing low pressure. The ITCZ shifts seasonally, affecting monsoon rains. Storms are common in the ITCZ due to intense convection. The ITCZ plays a crucial role in global weather patterns. Lapse rate, the rate at which air temperature falls with increasing altitude. The lapse rate influences cloud formation and weather. Meteorologists measure the lapse rate to predict weather changes. A steep lapse rate can lead to severe thunderstorms. Microclimate, the climate of a small, specific place within an area as contrasted with the climate of the entire area. Microclimates can vary greatly even within short distances. Urban areas often have different microclimates compared to rural areas. Gardeners consider microclimate when planting crops. Orographic precipitation, rainfall produced when moist air is lifted over a mountain range. Orographic precipitation creates lush vegetation on mountain slopes. Regions with orographic precipitation often see heavy rainfall. Orographic precipitation is common in mountainous areas. Paleoclimatology, the study of past climates through geological evidence. Paleoclimatology helps us understand ancient weather patterns. Scientists in paleoclimatology analyze ice cores. Advances in paleoclimatology provide insights into climate change. Rossby waves, large-scale meanders in high-altitude winds that influence weather. Rossby waves can affect weather patterns over large areas. Meteorologists study Rossby waves to predict changes in climate. Rossby waves are crucial for understanding jet stream behavior. Storm surge, a rising of the sea due to atmospheric pressure changes and wind associated with a storm. The storm surge caused extensive flooding in coastal areas. Evacuations were ordered due to the impending storm surge. Storm surges can be more destructive than the storm itself. Thermohaline circulation, the large-scale ocean circulation driven by global density gradients created by surface heat and freshwater fluxes. Thermohaline circulation plays a vital role in regulating Earth's climate. Changes in thermohaline circulation can impact global weather. Thermohaline circulation affects nutrient distribution in oceans. Turbulence, irregular or unstable flow of air or water. Aircraft often encounter turbulence at high altitudes. Turbulence can make air travel uncomfortable. Pilots are trained to handle turbulence during flights. Weather modification, the act of artificially altering or influencing the weather. Cloud seeding is a common method of weather modification. Weather modification can help alleviate droughts. There are ethical debates surrounding weather modification. Anabatic wind, a wind that blows up a steep slope or mountainside. Anabatic winds can cause rapid temperature changes in valleys. Gliders use anabatic winds to stay aloft. Anabatic winds are common in mountainous regions. Cloud seeding, a type of weather modification that aims to change the amount or type of precipitation. Cloud seeding can induce rainfall in drought-stricken areas. Scientists are researching the effectiveness of cloud seeding. Cloud seeding was used to prevent hail in the agricultural region. Cryosphere, the frozen water part of the Earth system. The cryosphere includes glaciers, ice caps, and sea ice. Changes in the cryosphere are indicators of global warming. The cryosphere plays a crucial role in regulating Earth's temperature. Dry line, a boundary that separates a moist air mass from a dry air mass. Severe weather often develops along the dry line. Meteorologists track the movement of the dry line. The dry line can lead to thunderstorms in the Great Plains. Extratropical cyclone, a large low-pressure weather system occurring outside the tropics. Extratropical cyclones can bring heavy rain and strong winds. They studied the impact of an extratropical cyclone on local weather. Extratropical cyclones often form along weather fronts. Geostrophic wind, a wind that results from a balance between pressure gradient force and the Coriolis effect. Geostrophic wind flows parallel to isobars. Meteorologists use geostrophic wind to predict weather patterns. Geostrophic wind is significant in the study of atmospheric dynamics. Hadley cell, a large-scale atmospheric convection cell in which air rises at the equator and sinks at medium latitudes, typically about 30 degrees north or south. the Hadley cell explains tropical rainfall patterns. Changes in the Hadley cell affect global climate systems. The Hadley cell is a crucial component of atmospheric circulation. Insolation, the amount of solar radiation reaching a given area. Insolation is highest at the equator. Seasonal changes in insolation affect weather patterns. Scientists measure insolation to study climate variations. Jet streak, a region of stronger winds within the jet stream. Jet streaks can intensify storm systems. Pilots need to be aware of jet streaks during flight. Meteorologists monitor jet streaks for weather forecasting. Mesoscale, referring to meteorological phenomena of intermediate size, such as thunderstorms and tornadoes. Mesoscale analysis is important for predicting severe weather. Mesoscale convective systems can produce heavy rainfall. The study of mesoscale processes helps improve weather models. Occluded front, a composite front formed when a cold front overtakes a warm front. An occluded front often brings complex weather patterns. Weather associated with an occluded front can be unpredictable. Occluded fronts can lead to prolonged periods of precipitation. Potential vorticity, a quantity that is conserved for an air parcel that moves adiabatically. Potential vorticity helps in understanding atmospheric motion. Meteorologists use potential vorticity to predict weather systems. Changes in potential vorticity can indicate the development of cyclones. Rain gauge, an instrument used to measure the amount of precipitation. The rain gauge recorded significant rainfall overnight. Rain gauges are essential tools for hydrologists. Accurate rain gauge measurements are important for weather forecasts. Sea breeze, a breeze blowing toward the land from the sea, especially during the day due to the differential heating of land and sea. The sea breeze provided relief from the heat. Sea breezes can influence coastal weather patterns. Sailors rely on sea breezes for navigation. Subsidence, the downward movement of air, often associated with high-pressure systems. Subsidence often leads to clear, calm weather. Meteorologists study subsidence to understand high-pressure systems. Subsidence can result in dry, stable atmospheric conditions. Tornado Alley, a region in the central United States known for frequent tornadoes. Tornado Alley experiences numerous severe storms each year. Many safety measures are in place in Tornado Alley. Residents of Tornado Alley are well prepared for tornadoes. Virga, rain that evaporates before reaching the ground. The radar showed precipitation, but it was only virga. Virga can create striking visual effects in the sky. Pilots need to be aware of virga when flying. Wind shear, a difference in wind speed and direction over a short distance. Wind shear can pose significant dangers to aircraft. Severe storms often involve strong wind shear. Meteorologists study wind shear to improve weather forecasts. Zephyr, a gentle, mild breeze. The zephyr brought a welcome coolness on a hot day. Sailing was pleasant with the light zephyr in the afternoon. The poet described the zephyr as a whisper of the wind.